Dispatch, I'm at the location. I'm not going in there alone. Nobody goes in there alone.
Copy, Unit 7, show you standing by.
Dispatch, confirm address for welfare check.
Copy, 1247 Helford Thornton Road, time 1747.
Dispatch unable to complete. No safe vehicle access. Recommend family contact subject directly.
10-4.
Local police haven't responded to calls from this area since 1987. They say there's no one here to protect. Somebody's here.
"30 years I wore the badge. Never once went up Frozen Head. My daddy was sheriff before me. He told me on his deathbed, don't ever go up Frozen Head. Not for any call, not for any reason. I had calls from up there.
Marshal 4. Over.
October 14th, 2022, 9:47 p.m., McDowell County, West Virginia. Bodycam footage, Deputy Aaron Sizemore. Top 5. Dispatch, this is Unit 7. I'm about 2 miles out from Bradshaw, heading towards Squire Hollow on that welfare check. You got any more information on the call? The radio pops and hisses for a moment before Judy's voice comes through. Negative 7. Anonymous call came in about an hour ago. Caller said there was a woman screaming somewhere up in the hollow. Wouldn't give a name. Wouldn't stay on the line. Could be nothing, could be domestic. I tapped my fingers on the steering wheel and watched the fog slide across Route 52 like something trying to hide. McDowell County at night is a different world. Used to be 50,000 people living here when the coal was running. Now it's barely 18,000, and half of them are spread out through hollows so deep and dark that the sun don't hit the bottom until noon. Squire Hollow is one of the bad ones. Not bad like crime. Statistics bad. Bad like deputies don't go up there alone after dark bad. Bad like the old-timers at the Welch Diner stop talking when you mention the name bad. 10-4, dispatch. Any backup available? Long pause. Negative 7. Marsh is handling a 1050 over on Route 16, probably going to be there another 2 hours. You want to wait for state? I think about it. I think about the woman who might be screaming up in that hollow while I sit here waiting for a trooper to drive in from Bluefield. Negative. I'll head up and assess. If I need backup, I'll holler. Be careful, Aaron. I know Judy's breaking protocol using my first name over the radio, but I don't mind. We went to high school together. She knows things about these hills that don't go in any official report. The turnoff for Squire Hollow is easy to miss. No sign, just a gap in the trees where the asphalt turns to gravel, and then the gravel turns to dirt, and then the dirt turns to something that's barely a road at all. My cruiser's suspension groans as I start the climb. The hollow closes around me like a throat swallowing. I lose the radio signal almost immediately. Not unusual up here. The mountains block everything. Cell phones are useless. GPS gets confused. Even the cruiser's computer starts glitching out, showing me roads that don't exist, locations that don't make sense. About a mile up, the road forks. Nobody told me about a fork. I stop, leave the engine running, and try to read the terrain with my spotlight. Left fork goes up steeper, nothing but black trees and fog. Right fork levels out a bit, and I can see what might be a structure up there, maybe a quarter mile. I take the right fork. The structure turns out to be a house, or what's left of one. 2 stories, wood frame, probably built in the 1920s during the coal boom. Half the roof is caved in, and the front porch is sagging like a tired old man. No lights, no vehicles, no sign anyone's lived here in decades. But there's smoke coming. From the chimney. I park about 50 yards back and kill my headlights. My bodycam's still running, little red dot in my peripheral. I key my shoulder mic out of habit. Dispatch, this is Unit 7. I'm at a residence in Squire Hollow, appears occupied. Going to make contact, nothing but static. I didn't expect anything else. I grab my flashlight and step out of the cruiser. The air up here is different. Heavier. It smells like wood smoke and something else underneath. Something metallic and old. I sweep my light across the front of the house, and the beam catches something on the porch. A rocking chair moving slightly. No wind. Sheriff's Department, I call out. Anybody home? The chair stops moving. I take a step forward, and my boot comes down on something that crunches. I look down. Bones, small ones. Could be rabbit, could be squirrel, could be something else. There's a path of them leading from where I'm standing up to the porch steps. I've got my hand on my weapon, but I haven't drawn it. I don't know why. Something about this place makes me feel like drawing my gun would be the wrong move, like it would be admitting something I'm not ready to admit. I'm about to call out again when the front door opens. A man steps onto the porch. He's old, 60s maybe, wearing overalls and a flannel shirt that might have been red once. His face is weathered like these mountains, all ridges and shadows. He's holding a lantern in one hand. The light makes his eyes look yellow. Evening. "Deputy," he says. His voice is calm, almost friendly. "You lost. I'm responding to a report of a disturbance. Someone heard screaming up here." The old man's expression doesn't change. "Screaming?" "No, sir. Nobody's screaming around here, just me and mine." "How many people live here, sir?" He smiles, and I don't like his smile. It's too wide and there are too many teeth. "Oh, we got a whole family up here. Been in this hollow since before West Virginia was a state, before the war, before any of it. Would you like to come inside, Deputy? Meet everybody?" "No, sir, I'd like you to step off the porch and keep your hands where I can see them. I've got some questions." He doesn't move. The smile stays frozen on his face. "You're not the first lawman to come up here," he says. His voice hasn't changed, still that same friendly tone, but something about it makes my skin crawl. Back in '87, a whole search party came up looking for some hikers. Before that, in '64, a state trooper. Before that, well, he chuckles. We stopped counting. "Sir, I need you to step off the porch." He raises the lantern higher, and the light shifts, and suddenly I can see past him into the doorway of the house. There are people in there, dozens of them, standing in the dark, just far enough back that I can only see silhouettes, and they're all wrong. Too tall, too thin, proportions that don't match anything human. None of them are moving, but I can feel them watching me. The old man's still smiling. "Go on back to Welch. Deputy, tell your sheriff that Squire Hollow is closed for business. Tell him what his predecessor told him and what that man's predecessor told him. There are places in these hills that don't belong to your law. Never did. I want to argue. I want to draw my weapon, call for backup, do something that a deputy sheriff is supposed to do. But my body won't cooperate. I'm already backing toward my cruiser, and I don't remember deciding to move. The old man watches me the whole way. As I reach my car door, he calls out one more time. "Deputy?" I freeze. "Don't come back here. Don't send anyone else. The last two that did, well." He gestures toward the ground, toward those small bones crunching under my feet. Some of them are still around here somewhere. I get in the cruiser. I back down that hollow faster than I've ever driven in reverse. I don't stop until I hit Route 52, and my radio crackles back to life. "Unit 7, this is dispatch. We lost you for a while there. Everything okay?" I sit. There in the dark, engine idling, trying to find words. 10-4 dispatch. Welfare check was unfounded. No one at the residence. Long pause. "You sure you're okay, Aaron? You sound strange." "I'm fine." Heading back to the station. The McDowell County Sheriff's Office has no official policy regarding Squire Hollow, but when I got back that night, Sheriff Trent was waiting for me. He didn't ask what I saw. He just nodded and said, "Now you know. We don't go up there. Nobody does." I looked through the archives the next week, found incident reports going back to 1931. Deputies dispatched to Squire Hollow. Every single one either came back with the same story I did, or they didn't come back at all. 17 officers in 91 years. The Hollow remains unincorporated territory. No census data exists for its residents. The state has officially classified it as uninhabited since 1952. Top 4. March 3, 2018. 2:15 a.m. Breathitt County, Kentucky. Dashcam footage, Kentucky State Police. Trooper. Daniel Frazier. They call Breathitt County Bloody Breathitt, and not because of the coal. This place has been killing lawmen since before my great-grandfather strapped on a badge. I'm thinking about that tonight as I take the turnoff toward Troublesome Creek, which is a name that should have warned me. Dispatch put out a bolo about 2 hours ago. Family of 4 from Ohio, driving through on their way to visit relatives in Hazard, stopped at a gas station in Jackson and asked for directions. The attendant watched them pull out heading east on Route 15. They never arrived. Cell phones go straight to voicemail. The family's Honda Odyssey has OnStar, but the signal dropped off the map somewhere around Troublesome Creek. Now, I've been a trooper for 11 years. I know these mountains. I know the roads that flood, the bridges that ice over, the curves that have killed more people than I can count. But Troublesome Creek is different. The locals don't talk about it. When you ask questions, they find somewhere else to be. I learned that lesson my first year on the job when I was investigating a string of disappearances, and an old woman in a diner looked me dead in the eye and said, "Son, there are hollows in these hills where God himself won't go." Leave it alone. I didn't leave it alone. I wish I had. The road along Troublesome Creek is narrow, barely 2 lanes, hugging the mountainside with a sheer drop to the water on my right. My headlights catch the fog rolling up from the creek, thick and grey, and for a moment I think I see something moving in it, just a shape there and gone. I slow down. "Dispatch, this is Trooper Fraser. I'm approximately 2 miles east of the Route 15 junction on Troublesome Creek Road. Heavy fog, poor visibility. Any updates on the missing family?" "Negative, Trooper. Still no contact. Be advised, there have been previous incidents in that area." Previous incidents. That's one way to put it. I know what she's not saying. There's a file back at the Post, unofficial, off the books. Stories going back decades. A logging crew in 1943 that vanished without a trace. A church bus in 1967 with 23 passengers. A state police helicopter in 1989 that went down during a search operation. Pilot found dead from what the coroner called massive cardiac arrest, despite being in perfect health, body seated upright in the cockpit like he just decided to stop living. I'm about to respond when I see it. A vehicle, off the road, nosed into the tree line at an angle that suggests it left the pavement at speed. Ohio plates, Honda Odyssey. I pull over and call it in, but the radio's already going to static. I step out into the fog. My flashlight barely cuts through it, but I can see enough. The Odyssey's front end is crumpled against a massive oak. Both front doors are open. All 4 windows are shattered from the inside. Not the impact, the inside. Like someone or something punched their way out. "State police," I call. "Anyone injured?" My voice dies in the fog like the air itself is swallowing it. I approach the vehicle, sweep my light through the interior. Empty. Car seats in the back. One for a toddler, one for an infant. Diaper bag on the floor. Children's books scattered across the back seat. No blood, and that's almost worse. An impact like this, there should be injuries. There should be something. But the seats are pristine, like the family just unbuckled themselves and walked away into the fog. I follow the tracks. 4 sets of footprints in the soft mud leading away from the vehicle. 2 adult-sized, 2 small. They head uphill, away from the road, into a hollow so dark my flashlight can't find the bottom. I know I should wait for backup. I know I should secure the scene, call in search and rescue, follow every protocol I've ever been taught. But those are children's footprints. That's somebody's babies walking into that darkness. I start climbing. The fog gets thicker the higher I go. The trees close in. Overhead until I can't see the sky anymore. My flashlight starts flickering. Fresh batteries I put in this morning. And then it dies completely. I stand there in the dark, hand on my weapon, trying to hear anything over the pounding of my own heart. That's when I hear the singing. A hymn, old and slow, voices rising and falling in harmony. It's coming from somewhere ahead of me, up the hollow where no lights show through the trees. The singing stops. "Hello, Deputy." A woman's voice. Close enough that I spin around trying to find her. "You shouldn't have come up here. Who's there?" I've got my weapon drawn now, pointing at nothing. "Where's the family? The Ohio family? Where are they?" Silence. Then, from a different direction, "They're with us now. We take care of our own up here." "I need you to step into the light," I say. But there is no light. My flashlight's dead. My vehicle's 50 yards down a slope I can barely see. I need to verify the safety of those individuals. Laughter. Soft. And wrong from multiple directions. There's more than one of them now. Maybe there always was. "Oh, they're safe," the woman says. "Safer than you." Do you know how many badges we've collected over the years? The fog shifts, and for one moment, one terrible moment, I can see them. Shapes in the trees, too many to count, watching me with eyes that catch what little light remains. They're not standing on the ground. They're in the branches, clinging like spiders, heads tilted at angles that don't make anatomical sense. "Run, boy," one of them says. It's a man's voice this time, ancient and amused. "Run and tell your captain that Troublesome Creek keeps what Troublesome Creek takes. Or stay and join the collection." I run. I don't care about protocol, don't care about dignity, don't care about anything except getting back to my cruiser. I fall twice on the slope, tear my uniform, lose my flashlight somewhere in the dark. But I make it. I throw myself into the driver's seat and I get the hell out. Over there, the Kentucky State Police conducted a formal search of Troublesome Creek Hollow over the next 72 hours. They found the family's vehicle exactly where I described. They found the footprints leading up the hollow. They found a clearing about half a mile up where someone had built a structure out of branches and old bones. They found 7 law enforcement badges in that structure. 2 Kentucky State Police, 3 Breathitt County Sheriff's Office, 2 that were so old and corroded they couldn't be identified. They never found the family. The official report lists them as missing, presumed victims of a tragic accident or unknown criminal activity. But when I handed in my report, Captain Anders just nodded and added it to that unofficial file, the one that doesn't exist, the one that has too many pages. Troublesome Creek Hollow is no longer included in any state police patrol routes. There are no road signs marking its location. The county maps have been quietly redrawn to exclude it. But the singing continues. Hikers report hearing it sometimes, late at night, old hymns rising from a hollow that officially doesn't exist. We don't investigate those reports anymore. Top 3. November 29th, 2015. 6:17 p.m. Harlan County, Kentucky. Audio recording, recovered cell phone, Sheriff's Deputy Marcus Webb. I'm recording this because my radio's dead, and I don't know if I'm going to make it out of Kingdom Come Hollow. If someone finds this phone, I need you to understand what's happening up here. I need someone to know the truth. My name is Marcus Webb. I'm a deputy with the Harlan County Sheriff's Office, badge number 472. Today is November 29th, 2015. Approximately 3 hours ago, I responded to a call about a hunting accident in Kingdom Come. Caller said his buddy had fallen into some kind of pit or cave up in the hollow, and he could hear him screaming for help. Dispatch sent me because I grew up in Harlan. I know these hills, or I thought I did. I found the caller's truck about a mile up the hollow road. Engine was still running, driver's door open. No sign of him. I called it in, told dispatch I was going to search the immediate area. That was the last time my radio worked. The hollow is steep, both sides rising up like walls covered in dead trees. Late November, no leaves left. Just bare branches clawing at a sky that's going grey with coming snow. I followed a trail of broken branches and boot prints up the slope, calling out for anyone who could hear me. That's when I found the pit. It's not natural. I don't care what anybody says. That hole in the ground is not natural. It's maybe 15 feet across, perfectly circular, dropping straight down into darkness. The edges are smooth, like something burned through the rock and soil, and there's a smell coming up from it, something old and wrong, like meat left too long in a hot car mixed with something mineral, something deep. I shined my flashlight down into it and I couldn't see the bottom. I dropped a rock and counted seconds. I never heard it land. That's when the screaming started. From down in the pit, a man's voice, begging for help, saying his leg was broken, saying he could see something moving in the dark with him. I yelled down that I was going to get help, that I'd bring rescue teams with ropes and equipment. The screaming stopped. Then a voice came up from that hole that wasn't the same voice. It was too calm, too measured, and it said, "No need for that, deputy. We have everything we need right here. Why don't you come down and join us?" I stepped back from the edge. My hand went to my weapon, but I didn't draw. I don't know why. Something about drawing a gun right then felt like it would make things worse, like it would be acknowledging something I wasn't ready to acknowledge. The voice kept talking. It told me things about my family, things about my grandfather who was a deputy here in the 60s. It said he came up to Kingdom Come once, just like me. It said he left something behind. I don't know what that means. My grandfather never talked about this hollow, never talked about much of his work at all. I'm walking back to my cruiser now. At least I'm trying to. The trail I followed up here is gone. Not covered, not hard to see, just gone, like the mountain rearranged itself behind me. The trees look different. I've been walking for an hour, and I should have hit the road by now. There are lights in the Woods. Not flashlights, not house lights, something else. They drift between the trees, blue, white, and cold, and when I move toward them, they move away. When I move away from them, they follow. I can hear voices now. Lots of voices, talking low, too quiet to make out words. They're coming from all around me, from the trees, from the ground, from the air itself. I'm not alone in Kingdom Come Hollow. I don't think anyone who comes up here is ever alone. It's been 4 hours since I entered the hollow. My phone still has 40% battery, but the clock keeps resetting. Sometimes it says it's midnight. Sometimes it says it's 1978. I don't know what that means. I found a structure, some kind of church, but wrong, built from black wood that doesn't look like any tree I've ever seen. There's a door that wasn't there a minute ago. It's opening. Something's coming out. I need to run. If you find this phone, tell my wife I love her. Tell the sheriff that Kingdom Come Hollow should be permanently closed. Tell him to check the old records, the ones from my grandfather's time. Tell him to find out what happened in 1962. Tell him, recording ends. Deputy Marcus Webb's phone was recovered by a Forest Service worker 6 months later, approximately 12 miles from Kingdom Come Hollow, in a location he could not have reached on foot. Deputy Webb was never found. The Harlan County Sheriff's Office has denied multiple FOIA requests related to incidents in Kingdom Come Hollow County. Records from 1962 were destroyed in a courthouse fire in 1974. The hollow remains accessible only by an unmarked road that does not appear on any official map. Local residents report that the road sometimes appears in different locations and that vehicles which enter rarely exit the way they came. Top 2, July 7, 2020, 1:33 a.m., Letcher County, Kentucky. Bodycam footage, Deputy Sheriff Thomas Cordell. I've been a deputy in Letcher County for 15 years and I've never refused a call. Tonight might be my first time. Dispatch has me heading up to Thornton Gap, which any local could tell you is a bad idea after dark. The Thorntons have been up in that hollow since before Kentucky was a state. They don't recognize county authority. They don't recognize state authority. As far as they're concerned, that hollow is its own sovereign territory, and anyone who comes up there uninvited is an invader. Sheriff Davidson knows this. Every sheriff for the past century has known this. There's an unwritten agreement going back generations. We don't go to Thornton Gap. We don't investigate what happens there. In return, the Thorntons don't come down. They keep their business in the hollow, and we keep ours in the valley. But tonight, someone broke the agreement. Somebody called 911 from a cell phone registered to a Randall Thornton, age 23, said there was a home invasion in progress. Multiple armed suspects, shots fired. Then the line went dead. Sheriff Davidson looked like he'd aged 10 years when he got that call. He pulled me aside and said, "Thomas, I can't order you to go up there, I'm asking. And I'm telling you right now, if you go, I don't know what you'll find. But if you don't come back, I won't send anyone after you." Those were his exact words. "I won't send anyone after you." Now I'm driving up a road that isn't on any map, climbing toward a hollow that the county officially lists as uninhabited. My headlights are the only light. No moon tonight, no stars, just clouds. Sitting heavy on the mountain like something pressing down. The radio's already fading in and out, more static than signal. I pass a sign nailed to a tree, hand-painted, old enough that the letters are barely visible. Thornton Land, no law. I keep driving. The road narrows until the trees are brushing both sides of my cruiser. I'm thinking about the stories, what the old deputies told me when I was a rookie. A raid in 1932 that sent 20 federal agents up to Thornton Gap looking for a still. 3 came back. The rest were never found. A state police investigation in 1971, something about a series of disappearances. 2 troopers went up. 1 came back catatonic. He spent the rest of his life in Eastern State Hospital, never spoke again, just drew the same picture over and over. A hollow, trees with too many branches, figures standing between them. And then, 1989. That's the one nobody talks about. A whole task force, FBI, ATF, state police, 37 officers. They were investigating reports that the Thornton family was involved in trafficking, not drugs, people. The task force went up the mountain on a Tuesday morning. By Friday, families were being notified. No bodies recovered. No investigation concluded. The official report, which I've read because I'm not an idiot who goes into a situation blind, says the operation was abandoned due to unforeseen circumstances and all personnel were reassigned. But I know the truth. Every deputy in this county knows. They didn't come back. The road ends at a wooden gate. I stop the cruiser and step out. My bodycam's running. I want there to be a record. Someone should know what happens up here. The gate's already open. Beyond it, I can see houses. Lots of them scattered up the hillside, connected by paths worn into the ground over generations. Every window is dark. "Sheriff's office," I call out. I'm responding to an emergency call. I need someone to come forward. My voice echoes off the hollow walls and dies. Nothing moves. I walk through the gate and up the main path. The houses are old, built in styles that don't match any single era. Some look like they were raised in the 1800s. Others might be newer, hard to tell in the dark. All of them are silent. I'm halfway up the hollow when I see the first body. A man, maybe 60 years old, lying face down in the path. I approach with my weapon drawn, check for a pulse. Cold. Been dead for hours. I keep moving and I find more. Bodies in doorways, on, porches slumped against trees. Men, women, children. The whole Thornton family, as far as I can tell. At least 40 people. All of them dead. No visible wounds, no signs of struggle. Just dead. Eyes open. Expressions frozen in something that might be fear, or might be something else entirely. I'm calling it in, I say into my radio, but I know there's no signal. I'm documenting the scene with my body cam, moving through the hollow, counting bodies. 53 now. 54. The houses are all open. Food on tables like meals were interrupted. A television still playing static in one cabin. A baby's crib with a mobile still turning over an empty mattress. I find the phone that made the call. Randall Thornton's body is next to it. He's the only one who looks different. His face is turned toward the woods at the edge of the hollow, toward a path leading up into darkness. His mouth is open like he was trying to warn someone. His arm is extended, pointing. I follow where he's pointing with my flashlight. The beam catches something up on the ridge. A figure standing between the trees watching me. I can't make out features, just a shape that's too tall and too thin, arms too long, head tilted at an angle that human necks aren't meant to bend. I freeze. The figure doesn't move. I don't know how long we stand there, me and whatever that thing is, staring at each other across a hollow full of the dead. Then it speaks. "Thank you for coming, Deputy." The voice doesn't come from the figure. It comes from everywhere, from the trees, from the houses, from the bodies around me. We've been waiting for new law to visit. I run. I don't try to investigate, don't try to be a hero, don't try to do anything except get back to my cruiser. Behind me I hear movement, lots of movement, things coming down from the ridge, coming out of the woods, coming from everywhere. I don't look back. I make it to the gate, I make it to my cruiser. I throw it in reverse and I don't stop driving until I'm back in Whitesburg with my doors locked and my hands shaking too hard to hold my weapon. Sheriff Davidson was waiting for me. He looked at my body cam footage, all 6 hours of it. Then he made a phone call to someone I never saw, and 2 men in suits came and took the camera. They never gave it back. The official report says I responded to a false alarm. The Letcher County Coroner's Office has no record of any bodies recovered from Thornton Gap. According to county records, the hollow is uninhabited and has been since 1920. But I know what I saw, I know what spoke to me, and I know that whatever killed the Thorntons, whatever took that hollow for its own, is still up there, waiting. There's a new unwritten agreement now. We don't go to Thornton Gap, and we don't talk about why. Top 1, February 2nd, 2024, 11:58 p.m., Magoffin County, Kentucky. Bodycam footage, final transmission, Sheriff Benjamin Sloan. This is Sheriff Benjamin Sloan, Magoffin County Sheriff's Office. I'm recording this as a final report because I believe I will not survive the night. If you're watching this, if this footage survived whatever is about to happen, then you need to understand something. There are places in these mountains where we are not welcome. Not as law enforcement, not as human beings, not as anything. I've been sheriff of Magoffin County for 22 years. In that time, I've buried 6 deputies. Not in the line of duty, not in the way the newspapers would understand it. They went into hollows that should have been left alone, and they didn't come back, or they came back changed. Missing time, missing memories, missing parts of themselves they could never name. Royalton Hollow has been on our do not enter list since 1947. There's no official documentation of why. No incident reports, no case files, nothing. Just a handwritten note in the sheriff's office that every new sheriff inherits from the last. It says 3 words: never go there. Tonight, I broke that rule. The call came in at 9:15 p.m. A family from Michigan, driving through on their way to somewhere else, stopped to take pictures of the mountains at sunset. Their rental car broke down near the Royalton Hollow turnoff. The father called for a tow, but while they were waiting, the children wandered off. 2 kids, ages 7 and 9. They went up the hollow, following something they said was a light. The parents went after them. The tow truck driver found the empty rental car 2 hours later and called us. I should have sent deputies. Protocol says send deputies, but I know what happens to deputies who go into Royalton Hollow. So I went myself. The hollow is wrong from the first step. The air pressure changes. Your ears pop like you're going up in an airplane. The trees are older here than anywhere else in the county, twisted into shapes that look almost deliberate, like someone trained them to grow that way. My flashlight works, but the light doesn't go as far as it should. It stops. About 10 feet out, like it's hitting an invisible wall. I follow the path for maybe a quarter mile. That's when I start finding things. A shoe. Child-sized, pink with little stars on it. A wallet. Michigan driver's license. Father's name. Same family from the missing persons report. A cell phone, screen cracked, still showing the last picture taken. It's a photograph of the hollow, but something's in it. A figure standing between the trees in the background. Tall. Thin. Not human. I keep walking. I'm calling out, telling whoever can hear me that I'm law enforcement, that I'm here to help, that I mean no harm. My voice sounds wrong in this hollow. It doesn't echo. It's absorbed, like the trees are eating my words. I find the children first. They're sitting in a clearing, cross-legged, facing away from me, not moving, not making a sound. I approach slowly, holster my weapon, try to make myself as non-threatening as possible. Kids? Hey, kids, I'm the sheriff. I'm here to help you. Get back to your mom and dad. Nothing. I circle around to see their faces. Their eyes are open, they're breathing, but there's nothing behind those eyes. No recognition, no fear, no emotion at all. They're just staring straight ahead at something I can't see. I look in the direction they're facing. There's a structure there, a house, but not a house. It's made of wood and stone and other things I don't want to identify. It's been here a long time. Centuries, maybe. The kind of place that was old, when the first settlers came through these mountains. And there are people standing around it. Dozens of them. Men, women, children, families. They're dressed in clothes from different eras, some looking like they walked out of the 1800s, others in modern clothing, hiking gear, tourist wear. They're all standing perfectly still. They're all watching me. Welcome, Sheriff. The voice comes from inside the house. It's not one voice, it's many, layered on top of each other, speaking in unison. We've been expecting you. Who are you? I have my hand on my weapon, but I don't draw. We're the ones who were here first. Before your counties, before your laws, before your species crawled down from the trees and called yourselves men. These mountains belong to us. Everything in them belongs to us. The tourists, the Michigan family. Where are they? All around you, the voice says, and I realize with horror that I'm looking at them. The figures standing around the house. The parents are there, near the pool front. The father's still wearing his University of Michigan sweatshirt. The mother has her car keys clutched in one hand. They're not dead. I can see them breathing, but they're not alive either. Not anymore. What do you want? The voice laughs, and it's the worst sound I've ever heard. We don't want anything, Sheriff. We already have everything. This hollow has been feeding for generations. Your deputies, your officers, your federal agents, all the law you've ever sent up here. They all become part of us eventually. I think about the 6 deputies I've buried. I think about all the missing persons reports that were never closed. I think about that note in my office. 3 words, passed down from sheriff to sheriff for almost 80 years. You need to let these people go. I keep my voice steady even though my hands are shaking. This isn't your right. Rights. The voice sounds amused. You speak to us of rights. We were here when your ancestors were fish. We will be here when your cities are dust. What rights do ants have in the presence of gods? I draw my weapon. I don't know what good it will do, but I draw it anyway. This is your final warning. Release these people, and we can... The figures start moving, all of them at once, turning to face me, walking toward me in perfect synchronization. Their eyes are wrong now, too bright, reflecting light that isn't there. Behind them, the door of the house opens, and something starts to emerge. I don't look at it. I know, with absolute certainty, that if I see what's coming out of that house, I will become one of them. I run, not toward my cruiser. The path behind me is already full of them, the Hollows collection, decades of missing persons blocking my escape. I run deeper into the hollow because it's the only direction that's open. This is what they want, this is how they feed. They give you one path and you take it because there's no other choice. I'm recording this as I run. I'm shouting it into my body cam because I don't have time to stop. Whoever finds this footage, whoever is watching this, you need to listen. Royalton Hollow is not a place. It's a trap. It's been a trap for as long as these mountains have existed. The people who built that house, whoever or whatever they were, they knew what lived here. They fed it. And when they died, when their bloodline ended, the hollow kept feeding on its own. It takes anyone who enters, hikers, tourists, law enforcement, anyone. You cannot save the people it takes. You cannot fight what lives here. You can only stay away. I'm hearing them behind me now. I'm not going to make it out. But I need you to understand. I need the next sheriff to know. Never go there. Those 3 words, that's not a suggestion. It's not a precaution. It's the only truth that matters. Never go there. This is my final transmission. God help anyone who... Recording ends. Sheriff Benjamin Sloan's body cam was found 3 weeks later by a hiker on a trail in Wolfe County, approximately 40 miles from Royalton Hollow, in a location he could not have reached on foot. Sheriff Sloan was never found. The Michigan family was never found. The subsequent investigation was closed after 2 federal agents assigned to the case refused to enter the hollow and resigned from service. Magoffin County has appointed 4 new sheriffs since 2024. Each one has received the same handwritten note. Each one has honored its warning. The hollows of Appalachia keep their secrets, and sometimes they keep the people who come looking for them. The 5 forbidden hollows of Appalachia, locations where no jurisdiction dares to tread. Number 5, Squire Hollow, McDowell County, West Virginia. Status, officially classified as uninhabited since 1952. Last law enforcement contact, 2022. Number 4, Troublesome Creek Hollow, Breathitt County, Kentucky. Status, removed from all state patrol routes. 7 law enforcement badges recovered. Ongoing missing persons. Number 3, Kingdom Come Hollow, Harlan County, Kentucky. Status, unmarked access road, county records destroyed. Last known contact 2015. Number 2, Thornton Gap, Letcher County, Kentucky. Status, site of 1989 task force disappearance, 37 officers missing, 0 bodies recovered. Number 1, Royalton Hollow, Magoffin County, Kentucky. Status, active collection site. Last sheriff lost 2024. Federal investigation suspended indefinitely. These locations have been scrubbed from official maps. Local law enforcement maintains unwritten policies against entry. The reasons for these policies are not discussed. The hollows do not appear in any tourism materials. They do not exist in any database, but they are there and they are waiting. This footage was compiled from recovered body cams, dash cams, and personal recordings obtained through unofficial channels. The families of missing officers have not been notified of these recordings. They never will be.